Hey John, I messaged you or created a YouTube video back when I bought this windmill. I don't know, it was probably a little over a year ago or around a year ago. Had some problems with it and you kind of helped me pull it apart, or at least told me to go ahead and take it apart, and the slip ring in there had come loose, and that was another video that's attached. But anyway, it never started producing the power that I wanted. So I'm creating this video to see if you can help me out here. I got it up on this pole, and I know that needs to go a little bit higher, but for right now I'm just trying to get it working. But anyway, I come down that pole and it goes through these three conductors here. These are 10 gauge wire, and here's the different spools I got, and so you can kind of see that this one over here is 10 gauge, and then this one over here, I don't know if you can see that, but it's 12. And so getting a little closer, you can kind of see the different sizes. But anyway, I come through here. I got some other stuff that I don't need to talk about, but I come into these Allen Bradley terminal blocks, and I come out of here into two full bridge rectifiers. And my original game plan was to come through here and to go into this grid tie inverter. But the grid tie inverter just didn't seem to suck all the power out of it that it was making, and allowed it to just spool right up on past it. Not only that, but if the grid went down in the middle of the night and this thing was spinning, I didn't want it to go free spinning. So I put this other one in here and I bring it back down. You can see it goes through these, and then out this black one here and this white one here, and it comes down and it goes into these terminal blocks here. And I got this set up with this switch, so if I throw the switch to the left, I get 24 volts. If I go to the right, or I'm sorry, left is 12 volts, right is 24 volts. And I come down to these terminal blocks here and I split it up, and I'm coming down. I went cheap just because I'm trying this out with some what I call motorcycle batteries, but anyway, they're kind of smaller batteries, and you can see I got this pattern set up for white, blue, or I'm sorry, yellow, blue. Anyway, that's so that when I switch it from 12 to 24 volt, it's connecting them in series or just in parallel. Anyway, I don't think that's any of the problem, but I don't know, maybe it is. So I had a lot more of these hooked up, but it just didn't seem to be doing any. It didn't matter how many I had hooked up, so I disconnected some of them. Anyway, to kind of start troubleshooting this thing, you can see I use some old telephone cable there, and telephone wire, and I've got some leads that are coming across the wall here and over here, and I got an oscilloscope, and anyway, those leads continue on and they come over here to a little Arduino that I have set up, and I wrote a little program, and I monitor the pulses that this thing is giving and the voltage that it's giving, and all that shows up on my computer here. And so you can see that it's telling me kind of what the RPM and the voltage is of this, and I'm trying to get to the program. So here's kind of the circuit that I built. You can see it's this part right here is a leg of the windmill. I've got some diodes, and the diodes clip the voltage and feed it over here to an NPN transistor, which then allows me to measure this 5 volts. And you can see up here the blue line is kind of what you would expect to see as this thing is firing. And then sure enough, if you come up here to my oscilloscope, you see that that's kind of what you see. So I think that's working. Appears to be working. And today I use this website, windy.com, and here's what we got today for wind. So I figured today might be a good day to kind of show you what I'm seeing. And anyway, I'm looking at the airport here where I live. They've got a anemometer there that's telling us what the wind speed is. And so I took some of that data that I collected from that program and I charted it in Excel, and then kind of printed it out into a PDF and drew some lines on it. And you can kind of see this is, you know, kind of a linear relationship between the voltage and the RPM. And you can see down here that maybe, I don't know, gotta get in there a little close. It's around 200 RPM is where I come up and get close, you know, 220 RPM or so is where you hit 12 volts. And from there, it just kind of starts slowly slanting out. You can see that, you know, I'm getting down here 600, 700, 800 RPM. And so that's kind of what that curve looks like, or that, I don't know, performance chart graph there. And so, well, I'll show you kind of what's going on here, and that is, you know, here we go again with kind of what's coming in. I got to move my laptop here while I'm showing you. And so anyway, you could see these readings are coming in here, and you can see 460, 550 RPM, and then I look up here at my power meter, and I'm getting very little power. So even though this thing is, you know, ramping up, not a lot of power coming out of this thing. I don't know what to think of it. And I guess one thing I should explain to you why these numbers don't match the 11 point, I don't know, what is it, 64239 there, and the voltmeter, or what I have hooked up to my batteries there, is because I'm measuring that off of that rectifier, which is hooked up over here. And when I hook it up to the lower rectifier, which goes to my batteries, I start to get some, I think, some chatter in the circuit that I made. So, you know, really, and then the Arduino reads in the raw data, and you have to multiply it out to get, you know, an estimated value or a calculated value. And the scaling, I didn't quite perfect the scaling on it, but that's not, you know, I could figure all that out on my own if I needed to. This is more some ballpark numbers on the Arduino that I'm getting, and correlating them to this to check and see, does it make sense that what I'm getting, what I'm seeing RPM wise, kind of matches what I should be seeing on the power output side. So, and what I mean by that is RPM versus power. All right, so it's a little later in the day and the wind's picked up a little bit more. You can see the RPMs down here a lot higher. We're coming up, you know, into the 500s, 600s, and yet all you see up there on the power meter is, you know, this 19 watts, 17 watts. I mean, it's, I don't know, kind of disappointing that I would be spinning up that fast and not getting any power.